Hi, Steve Stine here again. Welcome to my newest installment for Guitar World and for LessonFace.com. Today what I'd like to do is I'd like to keep exploring how to spice up your solos to make them sound more melodic. In the last one I was talking about some different things that you could do intervallically. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to kind of show you some ideas to, again, break you out of just always thinking about playing your scales up and down. It's easy to get stuck always thinking about boxes. When I talk to a lot of my students, you know, they move from a position 1 to position 2 to position 3 and all that sort of thing. And of course, we all see those as best we can. But what I want to do is I want to break you out of just thinking about moving up like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to start moving around, and I'm going to call this intervallically. And basically what an interval is we're just moving from, we're going to choose a distance larger than a whole step or a half step. So we're not always just playing through the scale going up. So if you think about it, we're going to start jumping over things. To make the movement sound a bit more colorful. And so what I want to start off with is just showing you this first one. Let's say we were in the key of G major. So I'm playing 3-5-7, 3-5-7, 4-5-7, and 4-5-7, and 5-7-8, and then 5-7-8 again. So that'd be my first position of G major, which is the same as the key of E minor. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to show you just a movement. It looks like an arpeggio, and it certainly is an arpeggio, but you don't have to always think of arpeggios as being like sweeps. Sometimes what we do is we use those arpeggios just to give us a different motion through the positions that we're playing in. So let's go ahead and go to the 7th fret of the 5th string with our pinky. Then we're going to go to the 5th fret of the next string with our middle finger. And then we're going to go to the 4th fret of the 3rd string with our index finger. So we have, and right there we're playing an E minor chord, the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. But I don't really need you to think about it like that. What I want you to think is if you were playing a scale, and instead of just going, you could come down and do, okay? Now we're going to build this up. We're going to keep going forward. So we've got 7-5-4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to head up to the 9th fret of the 3rd string with our ring finger, then go to the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and then the 7th fret of the 1st string, which is also an arpeggio of the E minor chord. It's an octave of what you just did here. Okay? So again, not overly difficult. And we're not looking to try and play it fast. We're just trying to figure out how we're going to use this in a melodic sense. Okay, so I've got... Okay, now I need to figure out where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do around that. Okay, now if I can see my scales around me, and again, I'm playing in the key of G major right now. For instance, maybe somewhere along that line... I start implementing parts of the scale along with the arpeggio that I've created. So instead of just going, maybe I go, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a bit more intervallic movement. We've got our first one, which is, and then we can go wherever we want in between it. We can go wherever we want after it. Okay, now what I want you to do, there's 2 of them here I want to show you. The first one is going to look like this. We're going to start on the 7th fret again, only this time we're starting with the middle finger. And then we're going to 5 on the next string on the 4th string with our first finger. And then we're going to go to, 9 on the 3rd string. So again, I'm just jumping over strings, playing 1 note on each string. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on. I'm going to go to the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the 8th fret of the 1st string. So I have... Now that makes for a nice little movement that might land on whatever note I'm looking for, right? If I'm in the key of, maybe if I'm soloing over an E minor chord, I'd want to go... Or maybe I just back up 1. Okay. So it's pretty cool because you can just do all kinds of different things. Now, if you think about it, if I took the first idea and combined it with the second idea, now all of a sudden you're not just going, when you play, you're trying to think about different ways of moving across. Okay, the third one I'm going to do for you, we're going to start off with an arpeggio again. We're going to be playing the root third fifth of the E minor chord. Okay. So I'm going 7 of the 5th string to 5 of the 4th string to 9 of the 4th string. Okay, and then I'm going to go 7, 8, 7. Okay, so 7, 5, 7, and then 7 on the 3rd string, 8 on the 2nd string with my middle finger, and then 7 here on the 1st string. Okay, so now if we had a jam track playing that was playing like an E minor chord, for instance. And you're thinking, see? So what's really nice about changing up the way that you're seeing the fretboard is it lends itself very well to creating melody, because when a singer sings, we're not always just moving up and down in terms of a scale. So what we want to get out of is whenever we're playing pentatonic, or certainly in this case diatonic, instead of just always thinking about moving up and moving down, let's think about maybe choosing one note from each string once in a while to create these larger shapes, and a lot of times they wind up becoming more like arpeggios because of that. But again, we're not thinking of the arpeggios as being a sweep or something like that that we're trying to play fast. We're trying to add it in context of our normal playing. So even if I was starting off playing just a normal little lick, and then all of a sudden I want to come out of that, take a drop back into something like that and just make it sound a bit more creative. And it's really fun because you start looking at your whole fretboard differently. I'm showing you just a couple positions here, but really you could do this anywhere you wanted across the fretboard. So again, the goal is to keep trying to expand your thought process and the way you see things. You know, don't get too caught up in just, you know, one particular kind of technique or one visualization. Keep exploring different things and keep that creativity flowing. So take care, and I'll see you soon.